Is there anything more beautiful than a sky full of gently falling snow? I love snowflakes, but they're always gone too quickly. What if they could last longer and be bigger? Hello, everybody. Jennifer Maker here. It is a beautiful day to learn how to make an eye-catching paper snowflake lantern so you can capture the snowflake magic and light up your home all winter long. Talk about simply gorgeous. Can you believe that all you need to create these snowflake lanterns is a few sheets of sturdy paper? Even when they're not lit up, they're just so amazing. I can't wait to show you how to make these. For these lanterns, I tested several different weights and finishes of cardstock. The 65-pound white and glitter white cardstock are both great choices for that traditional snowflake feel. But the sturdiness of Cricut's white craft board makes it easier to put together and helps the lanterns last longer. And since our snowflake panel designs are so intricate, I recommend cutting these on a Cricut cutting machine because I know it can handle the precise cuts. You can use a Cricut Maker, an Explore, a Venture, or even the Cricut Joy Extra. And if you're interested in creating your own panel designs, stick around to learn more about how you can do that. Now we could stop here and still create a pretty snowflake, but our lighting elements make these lanterns oh so special. We'll be using a combination of battery-operated warm white fairy lights and vellum to transform our paper snowflake into a lantern. It's like holding a star in your hands. So let me show you where to get my free design files, and then we will cut and assemble this gorgeous paper snowflake lantern. First, download my free designs at jennifermaker.com/682. You can either download right from that link by saving the project, or download from my entire free design collection. To find it, look for Libraries in the red bar at the top, and then click either Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. Search the page for design number 682 and click the link to download the designs. If you're not sure how to do this, visit jennifermaker.com/svgs to learn how to download and unzip files. The SVG folder has 3 snowflake lantern designs, one with an ornate panel design, one with pointed panel designs, and one with rounded panel designs. There's also a DXF folder with cut files for other cutting machines and a PDF folder with versions that you can cut by hand. I'll demonstrate with the ornate version of the snowflake lantern, and I'll show you how to cut it on a Cricut cutting machine. But you can use these steps to make any of the designs. Start with the SVG file of your choice loaded onto a blank Cricut Design Space canvas. The ornate design has 12 identical panels and 12 optional diffuser pieces. Click Save and give your project a name so you can find it easily. Then click Ungroup to work with the elements separately. I always recommend ungrouping because the designs usually come in grouped. The solid circles on your canvas are optional diffuser panels, which you can delete if you want the light to shine through the panels without diffusion. But diffusion will give you a lovely warm glow. I'll keep my diffuser panels and show you how to cut them out of vellum. Now, as designed, these panels create an assembled lantern that is about 5 inches tall. I'm going to make mine slightly larger to make it easier for you to see how the panels fit together. You can resize your lantern as well, but just keep in mind that increasing the size also increases the amount of craft board that you'll need. To make a larger 8-inch lantern like mine, select all of the panels and optional diffusers, and then click Align at the top and choose Center. Then with the lock icon closed to maintain proportions, set the width to 8 inches. This will also resize the diffusers to fit if you're using them. And that's all you have to do to resize the panels. You are now ready to cut. So make sure the correct machine is selected in the top right and click on Make. On the Prepare screen, make sure the correct material size is selected for your mats and materials. I'll keep mine set to 12 by 12 inches to match both my craft board for my panels and the vellum sheets for my diffusers. Click on the first lantern panel mat so it loads first on the next page. Then click Continue. On the Make screen, set the base material for your first lantern panel mat to craft board. If you don't see this in your materials list, click Browse All Materials, enter craft board in the search bar, and then select the correct material. Then change the pressure to more for cleaner cuts. And check the box for Remember Material Settings to save time between mats. Now, not all machines cut the exact same way, but I got the best results with these settings. Next, place your craft board face up on a green standard grip machine mat, and use a brayer to make sure it's fully adhered for the best cuts. Check that your premium fine point blade is clean and in the clamp. Press the flashing load and unload button to load the prepared mat into your cricut, and then press the flashing middle button to begin cutting. When the cuts finish, don't unload the mat right away. Gently lift a corner of the material to make sure the cuts went all the way through. If they didn't, press that middle button again to make a second pass of cuts in the same spots. When the cuts are complete, unload the mat, flip your mat over onto your work surface, and gently roll the mat back to release the cardstock without any ripping or tearing. If you have any issues getting good clean cuts, go to jennifermaker.com/cleanercuts. I recommend you use a spatula to help lift delicate areas and a weeding tool to pop out small cuts from intricate areas. Place the cut pieces face up in the correct orientation so assembly is easier later. Use a scraper to remove cutouts left on the mat. If you leave the cutouts there, you'll have issues getting clean cuts on your next one. Continue cutting the rest of the craft board, aligning the panels face up as you go. If you're making the optional vellum diffuser panels, set your base material for the diffuser mats to the vellum setting. Then change the pressure to more and check the box to remember material settings. Then cut and organize your pieces the same way. Since we have 12 identical panels in the same color, it's much easier to assemble your lantern in one sitting to avoid getting confused or losing your place. So make sure you have ample crafting time before getting started. If you're using the vellum diffusers, stack your lantern panels so that the top points are pointing away from you and the slits open to the same direction. If you're left-handed, the panels may be easier to assemble if the slits are open to the left. Since I'm right-handed, I'll make sure the slits are open to the right. Now that your slits are oriented as preferred, flip over your stack of lantern panels. Lay your first panel in front of you, then place a vellum piece over the panel's cutouts to see where you can add glue to keep it in place. Remove the vellum and add dots and thin lines of good quality craft glue to those spots on a face-down panel piece. Then lower the vellum onto the glue and make sure all the cutouts are covered before pressing it into place to dry. Then repeat this process to glue vellum pieces to the remaining panels, making sure they're completely dry before heading into the next step. Decide which panel will be the base panel and hold it in your left hand with its bottom arm pointing toward you, its bottom slit opening to the right, and the inside, the diffuser side, face up. Hold the first side panel in your right hand with its bottom arm pointing straight down, its slit opening to the left, and the inside, the diffuser side, facing away from you. Then line up the slits on the two bottom arms so they're facing each other. Gently slot the cuts in the base and panel 2 together until the panels are all the way in, with the diffusers facing what will be the inside of the lantern. Next, hold the panels together with your left hand so you don't lose your progress, and rotate the base so the first panel moves to the left side. Take panel 3 and hold it the same way you did panel 2. Line up panel 3's left-facing slit with the next right-facing slit on the lantern's base panel and slot them in all the way. Make sure to keep the previous side panel connected. When panel 3 is connected to the base and in position, the arms at the corner between panels 2 and 3 are a little tricky to slot together, so carefully guide them into place. Check that the slits fit together and don't disengage, but don't worry about locking anything in place just yet. It'll be easier to slot the upcoming pieces together if there's a little wiggle room right now. Add the 4th and 5th side panels the same way as the 3rd. Remember to check that your already assembled panels are staying connected before moving on to the next one. If you ever get disoriented, adjust the assembled panels until the base rests on your work surface. Find the panel that sticks up and doesn't have a panel to its right. That's the panel you should add to next. As you add side panels, the lantern shape will become more visible. When you're ready to add panel 6, you will also need to attach it to the open side slit on panel 2 to complete the lower side panels. I found it easiest to first align the bottom slit with panel 4, and then the side, and end with the connection to the first panel. Now take your time and be gentle to avoid ripping any of the delicate details. You can gently curve the arms to make the slits easier to access. Once everything is in place, the panels will make a bowl. To begin the upper sides, pick a V shape between two of the lower side panels. There should be a right-facing slit angling down on the left side panel's arm, and a right-facing slit angling up on the other. Bring over your 7th side panel to start the upper side section, and position it face up with an arm sticking straight down. Align the left-facing slit on panel 7's bottom arm with the slit on the left side of the lower section's V shape. Then gently use the tips of the arms to align the right side slits and slot them together. Panel 7, the first panel for your top side section, is now secure. Just like the first connection on the lower section, this piece uses fewer slits than the remaining panels. To add panel 8, the next upper side panel, you'll need to align 3 sets of slits in a boxy U shape. Align the new panel's bottom arm with a left-facing slit with the left side of the U, then its next arm with the bottom of the U, and finally the new panel's third arm with the right side of the U. Then add panels 9, 10, and 11 the same way. Connect panel 11 to the left, bottom, and right of the last U-shaped section. Then you can see that the next arm matches up with one on panel 6 from the beginning of the upper side section. Gently guide the last 2 arms together to complete the sides, leaving one section open at the lantern's top. Next, place the lantern on your work surface so the opening is at the top. Test your fairy lights to make sure they work, then unwind them. Starting at the end furthest from the battery pack, loosely wrap the string of lights around your hand to make a loop small enough to fit in the top of the lantern. Keep the battery pack and a few inches of the wire near it hanging away from the lights. Place the coiled lights into the lantern and gently loosen them a bit to better fill the inside. Keep the battery pack outside of the lantern and place the wire in a V shape between 2 upper panels for now. Carefully tilt the assembled lantern so a V shape between 2 upper side panels is easy to access. Hold the final panel, that's panel 12, face up with an arm pointing down. Slot panel 12's left-facing slit with the right-facing slit on the left of the V shape and partially slot them together. Be extra careful to avoid ripping as you get to the really tight sections. Gently work around panel 12, aligning and slotting together the slits that match up. If you have any trouble aligning a section, check the connections all over the lantern to make sure the panels are slotted in all the way. If something is misaligned, it may be influencing other pieces. Once the top panel is in place, go over the lantern, making sure all of the arms are fully slotted in to minimize any gaps between the panels where light can sneak out. Now cut a piece of ribbon about twice the length that you want the lantern to hang. Find the seam where the battery pack's wire is sticking out of the lantern. You can feed the ribbon through 2 holes. But with the diffusers, I prefer to loop the ribbon through a branch and tie it together there instead. Gently feed the wire near the battery pack into the lantern so the smooth plastic side can align with the snowflake arm next to the hanger. This position will be least visible if you're hanging the lantern above people's eye lines, like near a ceiling, but you'll still be able to reach the battery pack to turn the lights on and off and to replace the batteries. Stick a flat glue dot to the smooth side of the battery pack and adhere it to the snowflake arm. Make sure the switch and side with screws on the battery pack are facing out and accessible. Your paper snowflake lantern is complete and gorgeous. Would you like to make a snowflake lantern with your own panel designs? You can totally do it with my template and learn how to customize your lantern design through a special program called Advance with Jennifer Maker over at jennifermaker.com/advance. The Advance program helps to advance your crafting skills by teaching you how to make these popular designs unique and special through tutorials and templates. as well as give you advanced access to my vast library of designs, projects, and resources. Plus, we have awesome member challenges, and it is a lot of fun and super motivating. Now, I may or may not be accepting new members into the advanced program at the time you see this, but if you're interested, go to jennifermaker.com/advance to learn more and see how it all works. And here are our beautiful paper snowflake lanterns. What a lovely way to add some brightness to your home. The fairy lights are already soft and warm on their own, but the diffusers really turn up their glowiness. And they're equally as pretty if you choose not to use a diffuser. If you love these as much as I do, you'll want to hang them in your home year after year, so storage matters. The craft board snowflakes are fairly sturdy and can be stored together in a box. The cardstock lanterns are more fragile, however, and they're easier to crush, so I recommend unlinking the panels and storing them flat to increase their useful life. And if you're interested in going one step further and customizing your own lantern panels, don't forget to check out the advanced program. I teach you all about that and share with you tons of other special techniques and helpful tips to transform and personalize your cardstock projects. And if you're a crafter at heart but in need of a Cricut crafting machine, I do a regular giveaway over on my blog at jennifermaker.com/Cricut giveaway. Get all the details and enter for your chance to win. If you have any Cricut or craft-related questions that I can help you with, please let me know. Leave your question below this video or come ask in our awesome Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/Cricut Crafters. And I would absolutely love it if you would share a photo of your finished paper snowflake lanterns with us in our group. I can't wait to see what you create. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.